Summary of Canto 2, Chapter 1. At the end of the first canto, Parikshit Maharaj asked Shukadeva Goswami about what a man should hear, chant, remember, and worship, and also what he should not do, and what is the primary occupation of a person who is about to die. We see that in this chapter, Shukadeva Goswami began to answer Parikshit Maharaj's question in brief by first stating the superiority of bhakti. First, Shukadeva Goswami congratulated Parikshit for his very wonderful question, which is beneficial to all kinds of people and which is approved by all transcendentalists. A Grihamedhi who is blind to the ultimate truth has thousands of things to chant, hear, and remember. He simply wastes his life by passing his night in sleep and day in making money or maintaining his family. Therefore, he develops great faith in the fallible soldiers of his life, which is represented by his body, children, and wife. Actually, what should be chanted, heard, and remembered by a person who desires freedom from fear and miseries is that he must glorify and remember Lord Sri Hari. Tasmad Bharata Sarvatma Bhagavan Ishvaro Harihi Shrotavyah Kirtitavyascha Smartavyascha Chechatapayam. The highest perfection of human life which could be achieved either by Sankhya Yoga or Mystic Yoga or occupational duties is actually just to remember Lord Sri Hari at the end of one's life. So many self-realized sages who are situated beyond the three modes of material nature actually take pleasure in Hari Katha. Shukadeva Goswami said, I have actually studied this Bhagavata Purana, which is the essence of all Vedas, from my own father Vyasadeva. Although I was fixed in Brahman realization and I was beyond the modes of material nature, still my mind got attracted to the Lord's pastimes. If one faithfully hears the Srimad Bhagavatam, which I am presenting to you now, one develops unflinching faith towards the Supreme Lord. The Bhagavatam glorifies bhakti. Of all its limbs, chanting is the topmost. Therefore, constant chanting of the Lord's names following the great authorities is a doubtless and fearless way for success for all people. It is better to have one muhurta of life knowing about the best engagement than to have hundreds of years not knowing it. Maharaj Katwanga just had one muhurta left and he freed himself in that one moment by taking the Lord's shelter. You have not just one muhurta, but you have 7 days. Make necessary arrangements for your afterlife destination. Then Shukadeva Goswami began to answer Parikshit Maharaj's question about the duty of a dying man by first describing the path of Ashtanga Yoga, which was the opinion held by some of the sages in the assembly. So, first he began to give this opinion in brief in this chapter. He started to speak about Ashtanga Yoga for attaining liberation. And this is, of course, for the neophytes. So, Shukadeva Goswami said, the first step in the process of Ashtanga Yoga is being free from the fear of death. For that, one must cut off all material desires with the weapon of detachment. Then one practices the different angas, yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, and samadhi. Dharana destroys the contamination of the mind, which is agitated by Rajoguna and bewildered by Tamoguna. A yogi who sees the Lord through such dharana quickly achieves his desired goal of liberation. Parikshit Maharaj at that time had 3 questions. One is, how is dharana accomplished? Second is, what is a bona fide dharanashraya or object of meditation? Third was, how to quickly remove the contaminations of the mind. Parikshit was asking these questions about Bhakti Mishra Yoga out of curiosity, and certainly not because he wanted to practice it. This process that is being described, this Ashtanga Yoga process, is Mishra Yoga. It is not pure Bhakti, it is Bhakti Mishra. So Parikshit Maharaj was not attached to this process, but rather out of curiosity he wanted to know how it works. So how to accomplish dharana? This was answered by Shukadev Goswami, saying that after perfecting the preliminary limbs of Ashtanga Yoga up to Pratyahara, one can meditate on the Lord Dharana. Dharana Ashraya of a neophyte or an attached yogi is that one should meditate on the gigantic Virat Rupa, which is the Dharana Ashraya, the gross material form of the Lord within the universal shell made of 7 layers. Now, Shukadeva Goswami, he begins to describe the various limbs of the Virat Rupa, the Dharanashraya of a neophyte yogi who is still influenced by the modes. So, the different planetary systems as the limbs of the Virat Rupa is described. Patala is the bottoms of the feet of the Lord. Rasatala, the heels and toes of the Virat Rupa. Mahatala, the ankles of the Virat Rupa. Talatala, the shanks of the Virat Rupa. Sutala, the knees. Vitala, the lower part of the 2 thighs. Atala, the upper part of the 2 thighs. Mahitala, which is also the earth, is the hips of the Lord. Bhuvarloka, outer space, is the navel. Swarga is the chest. Maharloka is the neck. Janaloka is the mouth or the face. Tapaloka is the forehead and Satyaloka is the head. Similar descriptions are also found in the future chapters. Then he began to describe the further representations of the limbs of the Virat Rupa and the acts of the Virat Rupa. So he said the arms of the Virat Rupa are represented as the demigods headed by Indra. The ears are the Dik Devatas and organ for hearing. The organ of hearing, subtle ears, is represented by sound. Nostrils, the Ashwini Kumaras, and organ of smelling. Mouth, the blazing fire. Eye pits, the outer space. Eyeballs, the sun. Eyelids, day and night. Movement of eyebrows, abode of Brahma. Palate, Varunadev. Tongue, taste or juice of everything. Cerebral passage, the Vedic hymns. Jaws of teeth of the Virat Rupa, Yama. 2 rows of teeth, art of affection. The smile, Maya. Glance, Samsara. Upper portion of the lip, modesty. Chin, hankering. Breast is religion. Back is irreligion. Genitals, Brahma. Testicles, Mitra Varuna. Waist or abdomen, the ocean. Stalks of bones, hills and mountains. The veins are the rivers. Hairs are the trees. Breath is the wind and the prowess of Anantasesha. The movement and walking is the passages of day and time. His activities, reaction of 3 material modes, hair on the head, clouds, dress, twilight, intelligence, is the prime cause of material creation, Pradhan. His mind is the moon, the reservoir of all changes. His consciousness, Chitta, is the Mahat Tattva. Ego is Rudradeva. Nails is the horse, mule, camel and elephant. Hips is the wild animals and all quadrupeds. His artistic sense, the birds, deliberating intelligence, Manu. Residence is humanity. Musical ability or rhythm is the Gandharvas, Vidyadharas, Charanas, Apsaras. His prowess, the demoniac soldiers. Face, the Brahmanas. Arms, the Kshatriyas. Thighs, the Vaishyas. Feet, the Shudras. And prescribed duties, the sacrifices with ingredients and devatas. Again, a similar description is found in the 5th chapter. So, Shukadeva Goswami concludes this chapter by saying that, thus I have described the Virat Rupa, which is a bona fide Dharanashraya for a neophyte or attached yogi who is desiring liberation. Meditating on any other form will only cause his degradation. Hare Krishna.